Thank you, President Park. Thank you to the User-Centric AI Forum Organizing Committee for the opportunity to join you here today. I wish I were in Busan with you next time. I look forward to joining you in Korea. It's truly an honor to be a part of this initiative to promote user-centric artificial intelligence and join you in our collaborative and shared efforts at making the world a better place. And in fact, that's the theme of the message that I want to share with you today, is that through collaboration, we all do a better job of making the world a better place. We're better working together than we are working alone. And user-centric AI is a critical part of that future. In fact, I believe that user-centric artificial intelligence will become endemic, will become pervasive around the world. And it's great to be a part of this initiative with everybody here today. When I worked in government in the past, I've worked in the Pentagon, in the Senate, I worked at U.S. Customs and Border Protection. What I learned from those experiences is that collaboration truly is empowering. When I was in the US Navy, for example, I worked very closely with the Korean Navy when I was and had many trips with great memories of collaboration with counterparts in the Korean Navy. When I was in the Department of Homeland Security, at U.S. Customs and Border Protection, we worked with other law enforcement agencies within the United States, but we collaborated globally. And in fact, as a customs agency, we were only able to do our jobs through collaboration, again, through a great partnership and collaboration with South Korean customs, as well as customs agencies around the world. And then as I started to work with financial institutions, I was actually shocked and appalled at the inability of financial institutions to achieve the same level of collaboration that we were able to accomplish in government. And so when I left government, I was aware of the benefit of collaboration and, of course, the unmet opportunity and challenge of financial institutions to work together towards this same goal of combating financial crime, financial inclusion, and all of the great things that we could be doing together. As President Park mentioned in the last session of this meeting, there were a lot of references to Adam Smith, which I certainly appreciate. I also am an economist, and Adam Smith's main point, just to echo what was said in the last session, is that economic growth and development happens through the division of labor. So it's through collaboration, through the division of labor, that we witness wealth and prosperity in the world. When I left government, and with Juan Zarate, who spoke at the last event, who is the chairman and co-founder of Consilient with me, we decided that we understood the problem and we were in search of technology to solve that problem. Mr. Zarate mentioned in the last session how the financial crimes compliance institutions that really drive the world of financial compliance today, as we sit here today, those institutions are not fit for purpose, is his quote that I like to repeat. The system that is in place today was built in the 1980s, and it's really about, after an incident occurs, doing forensics and finding out who might have committed the crime. After 9/11, the laws and regulations changed, and the requirement on financial institutions is to identify risks before the financial crime occurs. That's a great policy, it's a great law. However, the institutions are not designed to do that. The technology hadn't existed. And through federated machine learning, we believe that the technology is now able to meet the requirement. So federated machine learning is the basis of Consilient. It's the basis of the company that Mr. Zarate and I formed. Now, Professor Lee, who is with the User-Centric AI Forum, in the last session talked about 3 concepts for UCAI: minimize the use of user data for developing AI, no centralization of data, and fulfilling user expectations. I can assure you that our approach to federated machine learning is absolutely in line with the UCAI concepts. I fully endorse these concepts. Sign me up. I am a part of the team, and I am an enthusiastic supporter of UCAI and the agenda and the work that you all are doing. And I believe it is that our work in federated machine learning within Consilient is absolutely in line with UCAI principles. So let me give you an example and a case study from the world of financial crimes compliance, or anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. And it also has an added benefit of financial inclusion. So Consilient is a platform for sharing models, not data. So picture a hub and spoke image, maybe similar to something that Professor Lee showed previously, where in the center you have an algorithm factory, we call it the algo factory, and the nodes around the edge of that center are financial institutions. They can be multiple financial institutions that are collaborating with each other. They can be departments or locations within one large institution. They can be data centers which are across borders, and because of data localization requirements, the data can't cross the border. Can be government agencies and commercial agencies in a public-private partnership collaborating. So all of these nodes have a reason and an incentive to collaborate and work together. However, there are many reasons why they don't want to or cannot share data. They don't want to or cannot share data because of privacy, because of data localization, because of jurisdictional reasons. Also, data is just really big and messy and doesn't like to move. I'd also like to emphasize a point that I know resonates with the UCAI forum, and that is that we're moving into a world now where data ownership is going to become increasingly emphasized. So if you think about the evolution of technology over the last 20 or so years, you had or 30 years, you had the creation of the internet, in which there was sharing of data. And originally the internet was ARPANET, which was created by ARPA, the Advanced Research Project Agency of the US Defense Department, now called DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. And it's a place that I've been doing research through and with DARPA for the past 12 or 13 years. The original idea behind ARPANET was to enable collaboration across academic institutions, across universities, which might be across the United States. It enabled the collaboration but had no privacy, had no security. There was never a security layer built into the original ARPANET. Then the next generation, or what we call the Web 2.0 generation, is the development of platforms, Facebook and Google and these types of platforms, where you're working and participating in the internet space, but you're doing so on somebody else's platform, and that somebody else is using all of your data. So think about an Amazon makes shopping, I know my wife and I use Amazon all of the time, and it makes shopping incredibly easy for us. However, Amazon has all of the data generated from my shopping patterns, and they monetize that, and I don't get any monetary benefit from that. So I think we're moving into a Web 3.0 world in which people will own their data, their shopping patterns, for example, and give permission for the use of that data and maybe monetize that data. So for all of these reasons, there are these trends to not aggregate data, not get all of the data into one place. So in Consilient, what we have is we've got the algo factory, and then we've got the participating nodes. And what happens is let's say there's a financial institution participating in the collective, they will call down an algorithm from our library of algorithms from the algo factory. They're going to call down that algorithm for one of two reasons, or maybe two reasons. The first is to use the algorithm to run through their population to identify money launderers or drug traffickers or human traffickers, whatever model they pull down. The second reason is that they can further train the model. They have ground truth or training data that makes the model, that makes suggestions to the model, to the weights and parameters of the model. That training comes back into the algo factory where there's an aggregation, validation, and orchestration process where that model gets improved because of the further use of the model. So the model moves, the algorithm moves, but no data ever moves, right? That's the core of federated machine learning behind Consilient. So we're solving that problem that Mr. Zarate and I observed from our time in government, and when we left government we were dedicated to solving, which is how do we make the world safer and more secure? How do we live up to the mandate and the requirements of the law following 9/11 and do it in a way that preserves privacy and is in line with the trend toward data localization and individuals owning their own data. So how is it working? Well, I can tell you that we've got a collective of banks that have shared and traveled an algorithm between the two. Initially, last year, the first set of results that I would share is we had a traveled algorithm which saw a 40% improvement in efficiency with an 83% improvement in effectiveness. So 47% improvement of efficiency, so seeing fewer false positives, for example. And not only was there not a sacrifice in effectiveness or finding instances of financial crime, but there was an 83% improvement in effectiveness or discovering the pattern of behavior sought. I'm going to share with you the results of our latest test, which happened here in early 2023. Sharing it here with you first. The challenge was to identify risky foreign correspondence. So this is a bank that's a customer of a bank, and that bank that's a customer has bank customers. So it's a very complicated, very complex data environment in which you're looking for risk. You're looking for the money launderers and drug traffickers, things like that. The existing system was generating 800 alerts per month to identify a certain number of risky foreign correspondents. The financial institution built a machine learning AI model on its own training data, and the number of alerts went from 800 per month to 500 per month to find the same amount of bad activity. So an improvement of efficiency to obtain the same level of effectiveness of 800 a month to 500 a month. Consilient came in and we brought a traveled model. So we trained the model further at this bank, and we brought in the model that had already previously been trained on other banks, and the alerts went to 170. So the existing system, 800 alerts per month, a machine learning system without collaboration, 500 per month. Machine learning system with collaboration, 170 per month. So the Consilient model is 79% better than the existing pre-machine learning system, but it's 66% more efficient than a machine learning model built alone. So I want to end on this idea of we're all better with collaboration. We're living in environments now where sharing of data, if it was ever a good idea, is less good now, and it's going to be harder and harder. And so federated machine learning enables us to accomplish that goal that we're all after, which is collaboration, making the world safer and more secure while protecting privacy and preserving privacy. I'm convinced that federated machine learning as being deployed by Consilient is consistent with the Ucai principles, and that by working together, we can create a safer and more secure world. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today.